Ladies and gentlemen, from the ring to the hardwood.
He's with the millions.
It's that world heavyweight flow. Championship belt wrapped around my waist. Yo, I got that Ric Flair figure flow. Slam you on the pavement, that's why they call me Street Pro.
Break it down with the punch by punch ball. Them buzz got the sports world crunch. Snap, snap fingers with the baseline low. Omar on the mic and the takes all glow. Every knockout replay slow. Everybody tune to the balls and buzz show.
Crowd get loud when the highlights play. Sports talk kings every single day. From the ring to the court, let the whole world know. This the place where the champions go. Let's go.
Fight night lights in the show.
Let's go.
March Madness, still a show.
Hey, hey, balls and buzz.
Hey, hey,
Balls and buzz.
hey. Every shot glowing under neon lights. When the buzzer sound and the net goes swish. Balls and buzz, break it down like this.
Sports fans always wanting more. If you love the game, let the whole world know. Everybody watching this show. Sports fans, you already know.
Game is only for the bold. You came prepared, now get ready for the show.
And the sports professor. Oh, shit. Yo, 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 what up? What up? What up, friends? Yes, indeed. Welcome back. Ball and Buds back at it again. I am your host, Omar, the sports professor Fonseca, and this is the professor's Semanalmente. Yes, we are here. What a huge sports day, sports weekend happening all weekend long, all types of sports happening right now. We got about 30 minutes until the next NCAA game comes on for the night slates. So we got a quick 30-minute show, give you all the sports news from the past couple weeks as well, some entertainment news as well, which actually might as well start with right now. Prayers up to Chuck Norris's family, and may Chuck Norris rest in peace. Yes, the legend, actor, martial artist, did so many things in terms of celebrity and personality and things like that. He unfortunately, crazy, but he passed away yesterday. And so the story goes, because I was actually going to do my show yesterday at this same time, and I decided, you know what, let me wait till Friday when I can get more news in for the weekend. And I had just gotten an email that Chuck Norris had gotten rushed to the emergency room, and they didn't know why, because apparently the day before he had actually been on the phone, walking outside, talking to friends, et cetera, et cetera. Now, obviously he was an 80, I believe 4 or something like that, mid-80s year old man. So you can never not be prepared for that sort of thing at that age, I guess. I mean, well, honestly, all of us. I mean, none of us are guaranteed tomorrow, to be completely honest. So, first of all, live life to the fullest. Try to love and help everybody else that you can. And, you never know. So it's even more for people that are obviously of advanced age. And so, but it's crazy that they said he was healthy and joyful, and then all of a sudden was rushed to the emergency room. So today it came out that unfortunately he passed away, and they haven't said what yet, obviously waiting for the autopsy, but definitely wanted to say prayers for him, his soul to rest in peace, for his family in their grieving time. Because that's just, again, you never, none of us are ever guaranteed. But one thing is, for certain, especially when we see people that are celebrities or people that we see in the, all the time in the public eye, it is something to note, not only because of the person that it is, but also for us, right? Because if it's something like when we talked about James Vanderbeek a few weeks ago, may his soul rest in peace, it was a good time for us to tell all of our audience to go get their prostates checked. And yes, let's remind you now, you should go do that, man and or woman. Obviously, men have a higher proclivity. What a tremendous word for a Puerto Rican on a live TV show. Shout out my brother Conan. Prayers up to your brother. Get well soon. Y'all go check out K100 podcast. But so it's always a good time to talk about those sorts of things that may need to be talked about when those things happen. Now, obviously, we don't know what happened here, but again, prayers to him and his family. Moving on. As tough as that is to do in that sort of situation, we are only here for about 30 minutes, so I do want to get us to the updates in the sports world. Please make sure that you hit that like button, whether watching now or on the replay. It does help us out in the algorithm as well. Make sure you please subscribe to Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. All right, let's get to it. Yes, again, a pretty crazy sports world we got going on right now. A lot of sports in the news, starting with the NCAA March Madness. Yes, I mean, even if you're a lay, college basketball fan, I am sure you know that March Madness is in full effect. You may have even filled out a bracket, and your sports professor's fun fact for NCAA March Madness bracket is that it is a 1 in 9.2 quintillion chance that anyone has a perfect bracket. So, I mean, just keep that in mind when you're thinking about the fact that, maybe I can get a perfect bracket. Maybe I can hit it big, whatever. No, it's not going to happen. Okay. Just forget about it. Forget about it. Yeah. Just put your hands up in the air. Do the best you can. Some like to choose mascots. Some like to choose, their own university. Some just like to throw it randomly. So do whatever it is that you do. But let's give you an update here on this, basketball so far. So yesterday was the men's side of things that started yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and show you my bracket while I do this. So let me get out of the way and blow this up for y'all here so you can see full screen what we got going on here. But yeah, so this was my men's bracket. I'll show you both sides or all sides of this. But yesterday, we had some good games here, y'all, and this is why they call it March Madness. First of all, I mean, everybody's favorite, Duke. I'm in one pool. It's kind of it's a closer pool with me and some friends and some colleagues. And so that pool is a lot more based on the East Coast teams because it is an East Coast pool. So a lot of people in the pool pick Duke as their winner. Actually, the majority of the people in my pool picked Duke as their winner. And even some marks and homers picked UVA, even though that's not going to happen, but being from Virginia, to be expected. Anyways, back to what we were saying. So looking at this, what you have here, Duke, what a crazy game they had yesterday with Siena. Yes, they almost lost to Siena. Yes, I said lost. Unfortunately, Siena ran out of gas and lost by 6, 71-65. Now, this would have been a historic upset. As you know, if you watch the show that Bobby G, shout out my brother BG at the Audible podcast, Wildcard Mar, Rec Room Sports. Congrats to them. They are now on ESPN Radio, Jacksonville 690. So salute to them. Y'all go check out the Rec Room. But anyways, BG, my brother from Audible Podcast, was on with me on Monday, if you watched our March Madness preview. And you'll remember that I mentioned number one seeds in the NCAA usually win about 60% of the time. Also, what I've mentioned is that historically there have only been two upsets in terms of 16-1. And again, being from Virginia, all of my UVA fans and UVA alumni know quite well about this. The UMBC, shout out Baltimore County though, Retrievers defeating UVA men's basketball back in 2018, a 16-1. And then back in 2023, it was done again by Fairleigh Dickinson, who beat the Purdue Boilermakers. So it's not like this has never happened before. By the way, shout out to Virginia, though, for coming back and winning the title the next year after losing that game. But it's not unheard of for a 1 to beat a 16. So yesterday, when we see Duke down 11 at halftime, us, all fans, but even the experts like myself are kind of like, all right, well, this shouldn't happen. Duke shouldn't be down to Siena like this at all, really, but definitely not like this. So to say that Siena did not have a realistic chance of winning this game is to be naive, because the only thing in the sports professor's opinion went wrong here is the Siena coach, and I don't portray to even know the guy's name, and he doesn't even deserve to have his name said here, because if I did know his name, I'm criticizing him now, so it's probably better I don't. How in the heavens do you, as a coach in NCAA basketball March Madness tournament, one and done type of situation, would you decide that you only wanted to play 5 players? For those of you that don't watch basketball or have no clue what I'm talking about, you can only play 5 players on the court at a time, which means that this Siena coach played all 5 of his starting lineup 40 minutes and didn't give them a break at all during the game. Not one sub. I'm sorry. May I give you a little side eye action? I'm sorry. What? In the tournament? One and done? All hands on deck? And you, all 5? 40 minutes each? Not one break. Okay. That would explain why, even after halftime. Now, John Shire is a tremendous coach, so we're not going to sit here and say that the disciple of Mike Krzyzewski, the best tournament coach in history, or not history, not in terms of, I should specify that. Duke is a team that goes to the tournament consistently, and Mike Krzyzewski was one that took them there consistently and won multiple titles. Obviously, he is not the great John Wooden, and I am blasphemous as a UCLA fan to even have just mistakenly said what I said, because it's obviously not true that he's better than John Wooden, but he is one of the best. And when it comes to terms of taking his team to the tournament, he did it so many years in a row. So we're not going to act like John Shire is not a good coach. So we're not going to act like he didn't make any halftime adjustments, because clearly he did. Because Duke came out in the second half to outscore their opponents by 17 points. But also, a lot to do with that would be because you didn't left your starters in the whole time. What are you doing, coach at Siena, whose name I don't care to know because I'm railing on you right now? Pause. You got to get subs in, bro. Got to. Cannot, in the tournament, one and done, all hands on deck, playing the number 1 seed. You're a 16 seed that's not supposed to win at all. And you come out in the second half, and then on top of it, not only do you not arrest any of your starters, but in the second half, when Duke is steadily coming back, you're not thinking to yourself, well, maybe these guys are running out of steam. Maybe they're losing a little energy. Maybe I should sub one of them out for a couple minutes. Just 1 or 2. just one or two. You're given plenty of timeouts for a reason. Use them. But I digress. Let's continue moving. I just had to point that out because I found that to be horrendously stupid when I found out that fact. But anyways, again, I digress. All right, so looking back to other scores yesterday, lots of blowouts. And I know if you are a lay basketball fan and you don't really watch basketball and you only watch tournament time and you're like, well, this sucked. There was a lot of games that teams won by 20, 30, even a lot of them didn't decided by 10 points. You'd say, well, this wasn't very fun to watch. Now, the one thing you have to remember, first of all, it's March Madness, so it's always fun to watch. So shut your damn mouth. But I'm just kidding. But also, there were some good games, but also it's the first round. So there's a lot of high seeds playing lower seeds. And you got to remember that like a Duke versus Siena is a number 1 team in the country versus a number 117 team in the country or whatever it is. They may not be that low, but technically they're supposed to be in the top 68. But we know that often never happens. But they should at least be in the top 100 of net rankings, you would have said. But there's still a big difference. Either way, other scores that were close from yesterday and even some surprise victories that we saw. TCU 66-64 over Ohio State. Again, 9-8, usually a toss-up game. So that wasn't really too unexpected, but it happened. Texas with a huge victory coming out of the play-in game. And again, remember, first 4 teams, as I talked about, especially those 11 seeds that played in the first 4 games, have gone to the Sweet 16 the past few years. Over the past few years routinely. So we got to keep that in mind as well for this team right here, Texas, because they beat BYU with what could be the number 1 pick in the draft, and AJ DeBonsa, who had a good game at the end. Now he started off very slow, didn't score for a long period of time, really even didn't get going really till the second half. But in the second half, he turned it on and wasn't enough. Texas with the upset. If he would have played better in the first half, I think they would have won that game. It doesn't matter to him. He's going to the league. Well, it probably matters to him, but he's going to the league, to the leg. So it's all good for him. He's going to be a millionaire and probably the number 1 pick. So he's going to be rolling in dough with some hot model next year and isn't going to care about this championship game. Speaking of others, shout out to South Florida, who I picked in the upset. They lost by 4 to Louisville, did not get the win, but a valiant battle. Also, shout out to where I taught at, the Vanderbilt Commodores. Yes, I taught at that university for 3 years. Shout out to the Commodores winning 78-68 over McNeese, who also gave them a little bit of scare there in the first half. Also, a couple big victories. High Point, shout out the number 12 seed High Point beating the number 5 seed Wisconsin by 1 point, 83-82. This was awesome. 3-pointer at the end of the game to win. What a tremendous game. It went back and forth at the end of the game. Again, High Point as a 12 seed, not supposed to win that game, but it's really awesome when those lower seeds do win, because you're like, that's kind of cool, right? Like getting to see the little man win. It's like getting to see the David beat the Goliath, right? You see the bully get beat up. In that sort of situation. And that was a 12 versus 5 matchup is what that would be considered. And finally, yesterday, shout out to the VCU Rams. Yes. And all my friends, shout out to Mool, which gives me a good time to remind you all that next week we will have our MLB Major League Baseball Super Season Preview. Yes, opening day next week. We're going to come on at 6 p.m. Eastern while all the games are going on, and we're gonna a huge super preview. We should have like 5-6 of us there, so it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna preview the whole season, so get ready for that. Amul will be one of those people. He is also a VCU alumni, so shout out to him as well as my sister, little sis. I love you, and many others that I know that went to. Francis, how you doing? How you doing? One of my best friends. So shout out to all my friends. I partied plenty at VCU in my 20s. Amazing times down there. But VCU with the upset, no stranger, to this. They have upset before from the number 11 seed and made multiple deep runs, as we've seen in the past. I expect this team to do the same. Beats a blue blood North Carolina Tar Heels 82-78. Hubert Davis just signed a 5-year agreement, not looking really good right now for the Tar Heels. They need to find that mojo. Duke had a little bit of a couple years there that they weren't as good after Krzyzewski to Shire, but North Carolina has been a little more tumultuous over the past couple of years, so we'll see what happens there. That being said, and I am getting long-winded because my UCLA Bruins are coming on in just about 30 minutes, and I need to be there for that. But anyways, let's get you to the scores from today. Again, lots of blowouts. I know. Again, don't worry. Games will get better when we get starting tomorrow. Again, just too big of differences here the first day, but that doesn't make them good. Did you see Kentucky versus Santa Clara? What a game. Yes, Santa Clara, the underdog, did not win. It went to overtime. Santa Clara hit a 3, and then Kentucky hit a 3 at the buzzer to send it to OT. What a game. Kentucky overpowered them in the overtime, 89-84. And then as well, shout out to Utah State. Again, 8-9 games. This should have been the kids, not the 6-7. It should have been 8-9, because in the NCAA, we know that the 8-9 games are 50-50 games, toss up. So maybe the kids should start saying that for March Madness. I'm going to make it a thing. 8-9 games. And shout out to Utah State, 8-9 seed, 86-76 over the Blue Blood Villanova. But shout out to BG, who did note that Nova is not the Nova that your father once knew, or maybe me. I guess I'm not trying to show my age. Maybe your cousin, maybe your uncle, maybe an older brother per se. I don't want to say I'm that old. I'm not your father's age. Maybe your older brother's age. How about we go with that? Shout out to my UCLA Bruins. Let's get it done tonight, going up against UCF. A lot of people are calling UCF in the victory. We shall see what happens. Big games tomorrow for the men. 1:45 Eastern, 2:45 Eastern. I'm in Nashville time. Louisville versus Michigan State, 6 versus 3. You also have Vanderbilt Commodores. Going to be a huge night here in Nashville. Number 5 Vanderbilt versus number 4 Nebraska. That's at 8:45 Eastern as well. Shout out to those VCU Rams, the aforementioned. They'll be going up against the powerhouse Illinois. They're going to have to bring everything they got tomorrow, VCU. Come on, Rams. You got to bring everything you got against this Fighting Illini team. They're one of the best in the country. 7:50 Eastern tomorrow for all my VA folks. All right, cool. Now, let me show you my bracket for a quick second, just to show you who I picked yesterday. So you can see here, I did fairly well. I did tell you I picked the South Florida upset, and that didn't happen. I picked the Santa Clara upset. That didn't happen. I picked Wisconsin and BYU. Obviously, they got upset. And I picked St. Mary, who got upset by Texas A&M. I am 18th in the – I play a bunch of pools, but in the pool with friends, I'm 18th out of 87 people, so I still have a really good shot. Also, because none of my top teams have been eliminated. When you're doing the bracket, y'all, just some quick bracket advice when you're doing the bracket. But you got to remember that the championship game, Final Four, Elite Eight are worth much more than the number one game. Just the Final Four itself, if you pick one of them, you get 32 points, right? That's the same as choosing every first round game correctly. So you really want to keep those people that you think. That's why a lot of people say work from the championship back. Pick who you want to win and work backwards. That may work for you. I still don't do it that way, but I see the logic. I do see the logic. And I did actually do one bracket this year that way, just because I wanted to feel it out. But anyways, I understand. That being said, also, you got to pick some upsets in the first couple rounds, just because there will be some upsets faux show. Now, even with expert knowledge, the odds of a perfect bracket. Remember earlier I said for everybody, it's 1 in 9.2 quintillion. But even if you are an expert like your boy, the sports professor, yeah, it's still 1 in 120 billion. So still not going to happen. You know what I mean? Not going to be able to do it. Not going to be able to do it. No verified perfect bracket has ever survived the tournament. So if you pick a perfect bracket this year, just know that you are luckier than winning the lottery multiple times. You are luckier than getting struck by lightning like twice in the same day. I don't know if that last one is true. I just made it up, but it sounded good. So anyways, just know that it's very hard to pick a perfect bracket. Shout out Bobby G. I was just talking about you earlier, brother, talking about our show and how you were talking about Nova not being the Nova of old. And I also told them to check y'all out on ESPN 90 Radio. Congrats again to Bobby G at the Audible Podcast and Rec Room. Y'all tap in with them. Check out the Audible tonight, by the way. Audible Podcast tonight. Bobby G, my boy Wildcard Mar. They're both my boys. I didn't mean that. Both my boys. And Wildcard Mar tonight. Love their Friday show. They give you their shout outs. They give you their shut the F ups. And then they also give you a little mental health check-in, which I can always appreciate. The Audible Podcast on YouTube. Tap in. Women's college basketball. Yes, that started today, the tournament. So let's get you updated on some scores. Again, lots of blowouts so far today. The only real close one of note was, well, there were two. Shout out to Virginia Tech. Got to shout them out for being from Virginia. Unfortunately, they were beaten by Oregon by 10. And then the other close one, I said 10 is close, but for women's basketball, it's a lot worse, y'all. You think men's basketball had spreads this weekend? Way worse for women, just because the women's there's less parity. The teams on top are way better than the teams that are beneath them. So Baylor actually beat Nebraska 67-62. So that was your only close game there. Tonight, you do have Tennessee here. Any Tennessee fans chiming in? Big game for them tonight, going up against the 7 seed North Carolina State Wolfpack. That gives me a chance to say, go UCLA, playing tomorrow at 9 p.m. my time, so 10 p.m. Eastern time. UCLA Bruins, 8 clap. UCLA fight. They're going to win. They're going to win the whole thing. They're going to win the whole thing. Led by Lauren Betts, led by Kiki Rice, led by Corey Close. They were so close, yes, pun intended, last year. And this year, it shall happen. We got beat by UConn last year. Not going to happen this year. Yes, I know UConn is undefeated. And yes, I know we lost once to Texas at the beginning of the year. We're going to get revenge on UConn in the championship this year. We're also going to get revenge on LSU in the Final Four. It's all set up for us to have a dream championship season. No show tonight, says Bobby G. Mar is working. Well, that's too bad. I would never want to miss out on a Friday show. But more basketball for you to watch, I guess, right? I guess it's a good week to kind of lay off when you have the March Madness. I don't know. We'll see. But we'll definitely get on the show soon, my brother. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. Oh, yeah. The women, let me show you my women's bracket. Boom. So in the women again, oh, that's not the women. Sorry about that. That's the women's. I'm just going to show you my Final Four, or I couldn't because it was too close. So I'm going to show you my championship game. As I mentioned, I got UCLA beating LSU. In the one side, I have UConn beating South Carolina, Dawn Staley's. And the other side, chalk. I told y'all it was going to be chalk. That's the women's side. It's been chalk for a while now, and it's not going to be any different this year. First team All-Americans were announced yesterday. Yes, what do we got? Oh, shout out my girl. You see her there in the middle. I named her Lauren Betts. Just the best down in the post. Big. I shouldn't say that. I apologize. You should not say that about any women. That's not what I meant. I need to put my face on the screen. I apologize, Lauren. I apologize, Sienna. I apologize to Mrs. Betts. That was not what I meant. I meant a big in the post, like a forward or a center. Love you, Lauren. Anyways, go get myself canceled. Sarah Strong for the undefeated Huskies. I keep wanting to always say Aziz, but it's Ozzy Fudd. If I could just read correctly. Madison Booker. And yes, here in Nashville, hometown, Michaela Blakes. What a great player she has been for the Vanderbilt Commodores this year. Yes, indeed. So shout out to all those wonderful ladies for winning that there. In the hoop tonight, though, in the hoop rec room, YouTube at 10 Eastern tonight. Y'all tap in with them. Rec room again. Congrats to them boys for that ESPN gig they got. It was awesome, Bobby, to hear the bump. I know you didn't like the push, but the bump is beautiful. That commercial bump where you gotta go out for commercial and then come back and you hear the ESPN radio. Awesome. Anyways, y'all tap in with Rec Room tonight for them having a show. All right. Let's keep it moving so we can get you out of here. UCLA is about to come on. So let's move into the World Baseball Classic. Yes, the World Baseball Classic was won by who, as the New Day would say, Venezuela. Venezuela was the winner of the I used to have a where did my New Day? I used to have a New Day. Who? But I can't find it now, so it is what it is. But anyways, Venezuela with the victory over. Yes, sad for the United States. Unfortunately, not able to get it done. A lot of people. Let me put myself back on screen for a second. A lot of people. Nah, you know what? Let me put myself on the big screen for a second. A lot of people, and well deserved in your boy the sports professor's opinion. Mark DeRosa, what is you doing? What is you doing, baby? What is you doing? Oh no, what is you doing, baby? No. To bring up a little old school internet meme there. Bro, first of all, what are you doing coming on live TV and telling people that look, if you don't know the rule, it's fine. It's okay. No, it's not fine. I'm lying my ass off. It's not fine that you don't know the rule. You can't be missing out on stuff like that. These are things that you have to know. You have to know that what the elimination circumstances are. Right now, thankfully, it did not come back to bite them. USA still made the Final Four to go play against Italy. There were other bad decisions he made in that game in terms of subs that he could have made, in terms of pitching changes that he could have made. I can lament all of the bad decisions that Mark DeRosa made for Team USA, but I'm not going to do that because I don't like to kick people when they're down. I would say USA had a good run. I hadn't even picked them to win anyways. They're lucky, technically, that they even got past the Dominican Republic, who I picked to win, because they're the powerhouse and they should have won, because the United States should not have even got that strike call. Because let's be completely honest. A bit low. A bit low in the strike zone. But again, arguments on both sides. I am not here to, again, kick a man when they're down. I will just say that the United States lucked out of a lot of not only situations, but decisions that were made. And so they were lucky they even made it as far as they did. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. But shout out to them anyways, and shout out to Venezuela again for winning. Let me put my thing back up here. Shout out to Venezuela for winning. You see the celebration right there. Very proud country in terms of baseball. All those Latin American countries are, which, by the way, gives me a chance to shout out my Puerto Rican squad. Yes, indeed. Let me throw the cap on for a second. Shout out to Puerto Rico. Unfortunately, the Magic died. We had a magical run in the first two games, having a couple walk-off wins. Italy just beat us. It just wasn't meant to be. So it is what it is, though. Shout out my brother, Can Tizzle. What's good, my bro? Sending love. Oh, out west. Where you at? You in Cali? Are you going back to Cali? I'm going back to Cali. I'm going back to Cali. Shout out to the west side. Not going to say the best side because I'm from the east side, but and I've never been to Cali actually, but I do love the West Coast culture. New Mexico, he says. I've never been there either. I hear the scenery is amazing. I need to get out there. I need to get to like the Grand Canyon, Arizona, things like that, so I can go see the mountains and and things like that, because I've never seen anything like that. Which is why I need to travel the world, because there's much better mountains around the world. But anyways, you know what it is. You and Flo and Jake can have a wonderful reunion show. As much as you are my brother, I am not going to be going back down that rabbit hole again. We closed up shop on that one, so I am still out. But you're more than welcome to hop on with me on my show at some point in time. Me and Jake already got our show together, so I don't need to do more with him, and I don't want to do more than than what I already do. Believe me, going with him once every 2 weeks is bad enough. So, by the way, gives me a good segue. Catch Hot Take Jake and your boy, the sports professor, on the newest, hottest show on the interwebs and the live TVs. Hopefully ESPN picks us up soon. Holla at me at omar.fonseca@gmail.com. I would have gave you my business one, mvpsmb.com, which is MVP Specialty Marketing Business, my marketing and media business. But anyways, Total Evisceration coming on again next Tuesday. And actually, you're lucky you get us 2 weeks in a row, the 24th and the 31st at 8 p.m. Eastern. Total Evisceration. Hot Take Jake and I yell at each other until we go red in the face, and it's hilarious. All right. Oh, shout out to my beautiful and wonderful abuela. Te quiero mucho. Mwah, 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 mwah. I hope you feel better soon. My mom and grandmother out there watching in Caguas, Puerto Rico. Wepa, wepa, wepa. There we go. Hey, T-Roy. What's good, my brother? Long time no see. I hope you and the rest of the crew are doing well. Yeah, you know what? I've always said to everybody, we should get a group, a friends group trip that is like cross country. Like we rent an RV and we just take a road. Yo, that would be epic. Just take all of us in a group and on an RV. That would be so. Talk about road trip, bro. That movie, it would be more epic than the original. Let me let people know that right now. But shout out to my boy T-Roy. I haven't been as consistent as I like, because I've got a new client and I'm going to be teaching my digital marketing course again soon, which, by the way, another segue, if anyone is interested in learning digital marketing, your boy who taught at Vanderbilt University, I created my own digital marketing social media course for freelancers, business owners, and others. So be on the lookout soon. I will be releasing details on the dates. It is a 6-week course. I'll release the pricing on that soon as well. So look out on Facebook is where I'll be releasing that information. But anyways, 6-week course, 3 hours. So you get 18 hours of teaching time with me, and then you get lifetime access to me, lifetime access to the course, which I update every year. So well worth the value. The price is going to go up a little bit this time around. But I'm also going to do a discount to match the first time pricing. So if you get in first couple weeks, you'll get that pricing as well. Hey, let's go. May have to do a friends discount on that as well. We'll see. Wink, wink. We'll see. We'll have to see. We'll have to see on that. No. Thank you to everybody tuning in, and shout out everybody on Instagram. Jen Jones, good to see you. I did not see you at Country Box the past few times. The new layout at Plaza Mariachi is awesome. Way bigger venue. You've got all the cool shops around. They've got the food being cooked at the taco shops. It's awesome. You're really going to like it. Hope to see you there soon. All right, let's keep it moving because UCLA is probably coming on soon. And you know me, I'm very, very long-winded, but let's keep it moving and get this done with. An agreement reached by the WNBA. Yes, wow. What a long time coming this was. So, y'all, when we're thinking about this WNBA labor disagreement, which, by the way, MLB is not too far off either. They're going to have a labor disagreement of their own after this year, talking about Venezuela winning the championship. After 90-plus hours of marathon talks, after months of not talking to each other and only going back and forth in the media, after the fallout that they had between WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert and the players, specifically Nafisia Collier, a few months back, finally came to an agreement. They still have to formalize the term sheet, but big picture is the negotiations have been concluded and the season will start on time, which is supposed to be April the 19th is when, that's training camp is April the 19th is when that opens. Actually, let me go ahead and just run through everything with you here that was agreed to. First of all, they will have only 2 months to hold an expansion draft. And you say expansion, yes, they are actually having 2 new teams. And this is actually, I'm actually going to talk about this as well when we talk about the NBA in a second, because the NBA is also talking about expansion after this year, which would obviously take a couple years to do. But anyways, once they are able to do that, and the WNBA is doing the same, they have to actually have draft for the teams. They have to have expansion drafts where the teams can pluck players from other teams, so on and so forth. That's how it's done. Anyways, the WNBA is set to expand to 18 teams by 2030, which is going to be, first it's going to be Portland and Toronto are going to join the league. And then Cleveland, Detroit, and Philadelphia will follow. That will expand them to 18 teams by 2030. The expansion draft for the new teams was supposed to take place back in December, but with the labor disagreement, they couldn't have it. So now they have to expedite this and figure out how to get this all done in the next 2 months before the season is supposed to start. What else did the players get? Because the huge thing about this, right, was the revenue sharing. So what did the players actually get when it was all said and done? Well, first of all, the salary cap will start at now $7 million a year. The average revenue share is said to be roughly 20% across the life of the deal. So obviously with the new TV agreement that was reached last year, the media deal with the WNBA, their income, their revenue is only going to increase year over year for the next few years. So with that, the actual revenue share for the players will as well, and that will be 20% of whatever that is that the revenue is coming in for the WNBA. Also, Supermax contracts now introduced starting at $1.4 million. Reports are that the Las Vegas Aces are set to offer 2025 MVP Asia Wilson that Supermax deal as soon as possible. A lot of other things in here. We're still starting to hear the ripple effects of the other things that are coming out, but just know that the players are getting paid way more. It's coming out to about 3 to 4 times more what they were before. So they've got to be happy with that. Could they always have gotten more? Sure. But I guess at the same time, at some point, you've got to kind of, bite the bullet and make an agreement. Do I still think they're worth more than that? I do personally. But again, you don't want to lose out on a whole season because then you lose that value and you lose all that good camaraderie you've built up for the fans, the morale, just like MLB did back in the strike in 93, 94, and just like they're risking with another strike next year. So between April 1st and April 6th, They'll have that expansion draft where teams will be able to submit protected player lists, and then they'll have the draft itself. It has not been announced yet. Qualifying app offers will go out April 7th, April 8th, followed by negotiating period, free agency, April 9th to April 11th. The free agency signing period will be April 12th to April 13th, and the collegiate draft, the WNBA draft, will be held April 13th in New York City. The training camp scheduled to open April 19th. So as you can see, they've got to rush everything within the next 31 days. So a lot for them to do. And you know what? I was going to go through the list of free agents with you, but when I actually read the list of free agents, all I understood was that every single woman in the WNBA, when it comes to business, is just smart as hell. That's all I know. They are so smart because all these free agents were keen enough, were astute enough, were knowledgeable and researched enough to make sure their contracts ended before this free agency period so they could all get in on the new windfall from this agreement. So, hey, shout out to all those ladies, Breanna Stewart, Asia, literally all of them. They all set up themselves to be free agents at this point in time so they can make the money. And I cannot ask for a smarter business decision than that. Anyways, moving on, because UCLA is coming on, but I do want to at least touch on, as I mentioned, the NBA is also talking expansion. They are obviously the two main sites are going to be Seattle, the Supersonics. Shout out to my brother Clutch B. His Supersonics are going to be coming back, which portrays a very big question to those Oklahoma City fans like my brother Clutch B. When your team does come back, and if you are now an Oklahoma City fan, what do you do? What do you do? Oklahoma City's really good right now. Oklahoma City is amazing. Can you really go back to an expansion squad that's probably going to suck for the first 3 to 5 years? Because you ain't getting good players in the expansion draft. As we know, they can protect so many players, and also there's a way to finagle the salary cap and able to sign options and release players a certain time where you will only have a certain quality or type of player that can be picked up in this expansion draft. And most of them are not going to be superstars. They did a mock expansion draft, and the only player that you would even think is a star or a superstar, was Joel Embiid. And do you really, yeah, he'd be a great, if healthy, number one, but he can never stay healthy. So do you really want to start your expansion squad with that? You had some other options like DeJounte Murray, and that was like your second best option. So you see after that, it drops very quickly. So you could build a good starting five, but you wouldn't have that great of a bench. But hey, look at what Boston is doing. My Celtics are going out there with Tom, Dick, and Harry second in the East. Now, my boy JT, rest in peace to the original JT, but my boy Jay Tizzle, Jason Tatum, is back and is playing amazing, averaging 21.8 rebound a game since he came back. But we are still led by Jaylen Brown, the MVP of the league, 28 points a game. And don't say, because I don't want to hear it, I said he's the MVP, and you are not going to argue with me. Plus, it's my show, and all you can really do is put something in the comments. But really, I can just ignore your comment if I want. And maybe I will. Anyways, again, got to get out of here. Got to stop being so long-winded. But NBA playoff, this is what it would look like if the playoffs started today. So, again, my Celtics in second. See Hot Take Jake Spurs in second. If you did not see the battle Hot Take Jake and the Sports Professor had over the better or more likely championship team between his Spurs and my Celtics, I released that video last week or a few days ago. Go check that out on YouTube at Ballin' Buds, BALLANDBUDS on YouTube as well. Follow on Instagram. Hit that like button whether watching now or on the replay. And yes, look at that. It actually starts on my... Can't let you know what that is, because then you could just go back and see what the date is, and then you might know what I'm talking about. It remains a mystery to only those who actually know that date. All right, but that's your MLB or your NBA playoff picture. Let me throw it up there for you one more time before I get out of here. Your number one seeds, OKC, aforementioned, and the Detroit Pistons, which gives me a good chance to give prayers up to Cade Cunningham. Yes, unfortunately, this is, I mean, obviously much bigger than basketball, but unfortunately, Cade Cunningham has a lung issue. Some sort of collapsed lung happened or something like that. So prayers up to my guy. Hopefully, you recover well and come back as soon as possible. Top 5 in the MVP race. Young kid. I mean, obviously you don't want to see it happen to anybody, but young. So definitely, hopefully he was able to come back very, very quickly from this. Players up to you, sir. Last but not least, or two more slides, we move into the NHL power rankings. There you go. You got your Colorado Avalanche at number 1, 44-13-10. The Dallas Stars at number 2, 43-15-10. The Buffalo Sabres at number 3, 42-20-6. The Carolina Hurricanes in 4, 43-19-6. And the Minnesota Wild at number 5, 39-18-12. And last but not least, we move it into our mixed bag. Want to give a shout out to Lionel Messi, scoring 900 goals and becoming only the second, soccer football player in history after Cristiano Ronaldo to score 900 goals. So salute. That is an amazing accomplishment. And I mean, Leonardo, I was going to think of Leonardo DiCaprio. Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo are probably both in the top 5, you would say, of footballers of all time. Lionel Messi could be number 1. Some people might say Pele or some others in there, but they're definitely probably going to be, I don't know if Ronaldo's in everybody's top 5. They'd be in my top 5s from when I started watching soccer in the 90s. But yeah, anyways, also, this is a weird story, y'all. But the AFCON championships were finally decided Tuesday night as Senegal, the African nation of Senegal, was stripped of their Africa Cup of Nations title that everybody thought they won back in January 58 days ago. But no, the African Confederation of African Football actually decided that the champion is going to be Morocco. Now, you may not remember, but this drama of a final, a few big calls, including a disallowed goal, went against Senegal. The tournament host, Morocco, were awarded a highly, highly contentious penalty via the VAR, or video assistant referee, which is the technology ref they have, deep into injury time when the game was almost over. The Senegal players, I mean, they went off, hunting the refs down the tunnel. It was crazy. 10 years, or walked off down the tunnel. 10 minutes later, they came back to the pitch. Play resumed a full 17 minutes after play had ended. Morocco's Brahim Diaz taking an ill-advised penalty kick that was easily saved by Senegal keeper Edouard Mendy, forwarded the game into overtime. Into first overtime period, Papa Gueye scored the goal that gave Senegal a 1-0 victory amid a backdrop of fan chaos, protests, player arrest, all kinds of crap that happened after that. Well, 2 months later, it is now going to Senegal. This is just a wild, crazy story. But I guess salute to them for winning, I guess. I don't know, what else you can say about that. But yeah, sure. Wow, what a crazy story that was. Anyways, last but not least, Iranian, let me say it right, soccer players amid the war that's going on between Iran and the United States. And I will be talking about that in a future episode of the Professor Semanalmente. I got 20,000 views on my YouTube video on Iran and U.S. and Israel and the possibilities of a nuclear war. I will update. That was from last year. I obviously can't. You'll want to watch. I have a lot of knowledge, just to say that. Anyways, Iranian soccer players at the Asian Cup were given asylum in Australia, granted asylum to 5 members. Now, the weird part is a couple of these members have turned around and gone back to Iran anyways. I don't know that I would do that after announcing it, because then you still look like a traitor. And you know what they do to traitors you know what they do to traitors in any country, but you know what they do to female traitors in the Middle East. And so if I were them, once you announce that, you got to stick with your decision. You can go back there. I pray for you. That's all I'll say, is I pray for your safety. That is what I will say. The others, I think there's 3 left, maybe 4 left, are being granted asylum to Australia. I mean, doesn't that have to be an all or nothing decision? I'm not saying that you don't want to go back and visit your family and you don't want to go back and be with your family. And obviously it's a hard decision to leave your family in that situation. But you got to think about it this way too. If you all go off and a soccer team has 11 players on the pitch at a time, you have 8 backups, coaches, staff. Let's say they ran out 30 personnel to that cup, and 5 of you decide to stay out, and then 2 more of you decide to come back afterwards. Those 3 are going to feel safe, I guess, because they've escaped, but they can never go back and see their family, and something may happen to their family. But also, are you safe as the other ones? As the other 27 people that go back and you let those girls, I was about to say deflect. Not the right word I'm looking for. Defect. Jeez Louise. Who decided that they would put the L in deflect and defect? It's too close. Too close. Defect to another country. Because if they go back, then aren't they going to be in trouble? Like, what? You didn't stop them. And then 2 of y'all definitely are the worst off because y'all said you were going to go and then decide to come back. So y'all are definitely in some trouble. But the rest of them, aren't they? And so that's going to be an all or nothing decision, right? Like all of us decide we're going to stay, or none of us decide we're going to stay. Something to be pondered about. Let me know in the comments what you think about that controversial topic. And make sure you hit that like button, whether watching now or on the replay. It really helps us out. And as well, make sure you subscribe at Ball and Buds, BALLANDBUDS. I have been your host, Omar, sports professor Fonseca, and this has been the Professor's Semanalmente. Go out, be kind to each other, be successful, love one another, be blessed, and spread love the Omar way. Holla, 5,000. And shout out Rock Chalk for the new intro outro for the March Madness. I appreciate it. It's Ball and Buds, y'all. Ball and Buds, not balls and buds. I hope she sees this. Shout out. Appreciate you, girl. You're amazing. Holla.
Oh, yeah. Whoa.
Ball and Buds.
Let's go.
Let's go, let's go.
Let's go. Whoa.
Ball and Buds.
Run the show. Let's go. Whoa.
Ball and Buds. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Ooh.
Lights on bright like a championship night. Talking every sport and they do it right. Basketball brackets in the boxing fight. Oh my God, the mic and the take so tight.
From the court to the ring, they cover it all. Balls and Buzz when the big games call.
Crowd get loud when the show go live.
Sports talk, energy, feel that vibe.
Every highlight replay slow. Everybody watching the
Ball and Buds. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go.
Ball and Buds.
The show.
Run the show.
Fight night,
get down like a championship king.
March Madness when the bracket explode.
Talking hoops while the highlights roll. From the court to the cage to the title fight. Every sports fan tuned in tonight. When the play go crazy and the crowd erupt. Everybody watching ball and bud.
Let's go, Omar.
Ball and bud.
Go.
Let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go.
Ball and bud. Run the show.